Chambers of the Occult may contain content that might not be suitable for all listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hello.
Hi.
We tried to get our laughs out before we started recording, but
It didn't work
they always
out.
seem to carry over. So
Yeah,
That's fine with me.
Welcome back to episode 8 of Chambers of the Occult. Oh my
You can
gosh.
count.
Episode I can only count to 4. Okay. Hey guys, I'm Kai. If you don't know me by now, that sucks for you. So,
I am Jay.
Yeah. Okay. I'm Alexis.
Sorry, I'm in a sassy mood today.
I know.
Perfect. It can only add more seasoning to the episode.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I feel like this episode's gonna have a lot of seasoning. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
I feel like I'm
I can feel it.
I
I can feel it.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm
excited for
anything
your
you want
guys'
to fill
stories.
us. Anything you want to fill us in with, Alexis?
I cleaned my desk this morning.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Sick.
That's about it. That's all the progress I've made.
Now, before we get started, I just looked to the side and realized that I put this on the side to show y'all because I didn't show you before we started, and I don't want to show you after. I got something. I'm gonna turn my camera on so you can see, and then just because I felt it was a impulse buy. Not gonna lie.
Oh, okay.
It's okay. I can understand that. No.
Oh my god. What is that? It's
Do you
like
remember
a...
that? It's a what, Alexis?
Oh!
Oh my god, I love it.
It's a fucking emu.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Viewers can't see this. So what it is, it's like an emu with like a black like body and neck, but then it has blue and green and like neon green like puffy fur all around it. And it's a giant hand puppet. Like it goes all the way down to Jay's like bicep.
Past
probably.
my elbow.
Like it's just like it's huge.
There's
Oh my god.
everything.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Legs.
That thing is
It has
sick.
knees. Where are they?
God.
I'll post a picture on the Instagram so people can see it. I've had this for a week, like a week and a half.
What?
Today's the first day that I realized, because I couldn't show you guys before.
Fair.
Today is the first day I realized that it squeaks.
No.
Stop it right now. How much do you want for it?
I
my God.
feel like carrying this with me, though. It's
Alexis,
that is
our new
amazing.
puppet performer.
Yeah,
along
no,
with Jay.
Yeah,
Dude,
but
that's so good.
Now that Alexis got her laughters out of the way, and Kai and I feel like now we can start. So we'll say goodbye to Mr. Emu for now.
Goodbye, Mr. Emu.
Bye, Emu.
Damn, that was so like not enthusiastic with that goodbye.
What are you talking about?
Bye, Emu. Yeah, get the hell out of here, Emu.
And now Kai's turn is on.
I'm not
starting us off. We should throw in Alexis at the start one of these days, and then she's gonna and then it'll like really mess her up.
Yeah.
No, I
funny.
don't think so.
Yeah.
Me personally, I wouldn't.
I mean,
No, I think you have to.
It's 2 against 1, so
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a majority to me.
yeah.
Anyway.
Yes, Kai. What are you doing?
Today I'm doing a true crime case. This one was suggested to me by another friend of mine. So it's a cool little case that I took an interest to. Before this, as always, trigger warning for those who are listening. Mentions of like rape and sexual deviancy and stuff like that. So viewer discretion always advised. So for today's case, it might not be the longest true crime case we've had on the podcast so far, but there's definitely a lot to unpack with this one. Definitely a lot going on. So, Issei Sagawa. Do either of you recognize that name?
I've heard of it.
I think so.
Don't know much.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Because I did not know much either before this case. So before I give you guys any details about what this case actually is, I do just want to dive into a bit of Sagawa's like early life. So he was born on April 26, 1949 in Kobe, Japan. He was born into a wealthy family, but did have lots of health complications immediately after birth. He was very small and frail because of his fragile health, lots of conditions that he had as a child. And he would honestly continue to be small and frail throughout his lifetime. I think as an adult, he only was like 4'9" or something like that. Yeah, he was only 4'9" as an adult. And so he never really fully got to grow in a way. But 4'9", I don't know, pretty similar to someone else we know, I guess. But sorry, Sarah. I'm gonna read to this guy, but
you're good.
Because of his, I guess, fragility and general introversion, Sagawa grew up very reserved. Even with, his parents being like public figures and in the public view, which is how they got a lot of their wealth. So as Sagawa was growing up, though, he kept to himself. So he also really dove a lot into literature and English literature specifically. He took on a very keen interest in all of that. So later on in his life, when he was older, he would attend Wako University in Machida, Tokyo, Japan. So he went to university in Japan. He then moved on to the Kwansei Gakuin University to get his master's degree in English literature. So that's how much he actually, I guess, found an interest in that subject. Mm-hmm. So to further his education, in 1977, he would move to France at the age of 28 years old. So he moved over to France, left Japan, and he was excited about being in this new place. And so he did move to France. What?
I think I know who this is.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, no. Like, genuinely, I think I have an idea. And even if I'm right, I know like point A and point B, and that's it. Like, I don't know the details. I don't know anything else.
Okay.
Keep going.
Well, you guys will learn some of the details pretty soon, and they're pretty gruesome. I feel like I always choose gruesome cases. I don't know.
You do. You really do.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
No,
I was going to say, I don't think there's much of a choice when it comes to true crime.
Yeah.
Well, actually, there is. There's missing and unsolved and other stuff, but go ahead.
That's true. But there's always some bit of like brutality a lot of the time.
Yeah.
We have variety. That's what we have.
We do. So that's a way to put it. Yeah, so 28 years old, 1977, he moved to France. He moved there to pursue his PhD in literature at Paris Sorbonne University. So he moved out there. But Sagawa did have an alarming childhood, not only because of his fragile health and things like that I described, but it was also alarming because of the sexual deviancy and cannibalistic desires he experienced at such a young age. Yeah.
Taste for human flesh.
Exactly. I was gonna make a joke out of that, but I'm good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So in a Vice interview with Issei Sagawa done in 2011, Sagawa actually said that he first experienced his cannibalistic desires in the first grade after seeing the thigh of a young male.
Oh, that's really concerning.
Yep. He just saw the thigh and he said, "Oh, I
want a piece of that."
I felt these. Okay, I mean, I wasn't gonna say that, but I mean,
that's basically, yeah.
That's really early.
It is really early. First grade.
Yeah.
Like, imagine that.
5?
Yeah. So first grade was when he first experienced like his desires. He also said that he committed bestiality with his dog around that age as well. Not going to go into details with that, but Sagawa does talk a little bit more about it in that interview with Vice. But I'll leave it at that for now.
Self-explanatory.
Yeah. So his cannibalistic desires, though, would progress. They got worse. So Sagawa expressed that after seeing the thighs and ass, his words, not mine, of a pale-skinned woman, he just needed to get a taste of her. So exactly what you said, Alexis. He wanted to bite.
Know anything of his parents?
What do you mean?
Did they catch on, or was it too late when they found out, or how was their relationship with them?
So it was pretty early on. Like he kept it pretty, I guess, hidden from his parents as a kid. They didn't really think much of it. But also his parents were the type that was probably too busy to care for their kid, right?
Got it. Okay.
His father was a businessman who actually served as president of a big water industry company in Japan. Grandfather was an editor for one of the largest newspapers in Japan. So
they were minimally involved.
Probably, yeah. That's what it seems like. So they probably didn't really catch on to anything like that. But yeah, so at an early age, he realized he wanted a taste, and he said he didn't know why, but he had an affinity for foreign women. Just their pale skin was attractive to him. Yeah. But like I said, these desires did not go away. They just got worse. When he was 24, while he was in Wako University, one time he said that he followed a tall German woman home, broke into her apartment, and his plan was to cannibalize her by slicing off part of her ass and then sneaking away with her flesh. But as
my god.
Mm-hmm. But as he got in, she woke up and managed to fight him off because he was a pretty small, fragile man.
Yeah, 4'9", right?
Yeah, he was 4'9".
And this was when he was already in Paris, right? Or
no, he was still in Tokyo. He was 24.
Oh, okay. So that was before his move.
For his move, yeah. So he was captured by the police and charged with attempted rape only.
Because he probably didn't tell them.
Nope, he did not. Of course, he's not going to tell them about him wanting to cannibalize this girl. That's insane. But the kicker about this is that the charges against him were dropped because his father paid out the victim.
No,
because he was rich.
What?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So I guess that's probably when his parents probably caught on a little bit. Maybe not necessarily to like the cannibalism part of it, but they knew that he was kind of a questionable child. Yeah.
Do you know if, I don't know, it could just be a theory, if the dad maybe paid it off because the dad had a reputation to uphold?
Oh, almost 100% likely. Yeah. Like, he probably didn't even care about his kid, and he was just like, oh, I need to pay this off so it doesn't get out there and ruin my reputation.
Okay, because if they weren't really that involved until now, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't really go into, from the research I've done, nothing really goes into much detail about their relationship with each other, but just from putting together the pieces of it all, it just seems like his parents were never really involved too much.
Got it.
Yeah, so that was really the first case. The first time he tried to act on his cannibalistic urges, but unfortunately, even after being arrested for it, it did not stop.
So this would be the first of many.
Yeah, first of many, or at least first of many thoughts. A bit of time would go by until he did, I guess, strike again. It was maybe a decent bit of time later. He was already moved to Paris at this time, so he was living in Paris when, I guess, the worst part of this case does happen. It was the day of June 11th, 1981. So he was in Paris at this time. He was 32. One sec, sorry.
You're good. So he didn't really commit any cannibalism until he moved to Paris?
No. He did not, but I know in some reports, I believe in the interview, he did say that his cannibalistic urges did not go away once he moved to Paris. Like, they were still as strong as ever.
I mean, it kind of sounds like he tried to act upon them before he moved, and then he got like scared off for a bit, and then he moved away. Didn't try again for a while. But yeah, he did try again. I guess the one that I'm going to mainly focus on was June 11th, 1981. He was 32 at that time. He was still in school at Paris Sorbonne University, trying to, go for his PhD at that time. It was nighttime. It was nights on the night of June 11th, and Sagawa invited one of his classmates over to his apartment. She was a Dutch woman, so a foreign student, a foreign lady. Her name was Renee Hardevelt. So Sagawa would invite Hardevelt over to his apartment. He told her that they would be translating poetry together for a school assignment, and that was the guise that he invited her over under to have dinner with him as well at the apartment. Little did she know, Sagawa's plan was to kill her, eat her, and do some other things to her as well. Not translate poetry.
No. Apparently he selected her because of like her beauty, because of her health, because he idolized these white women essentially, and he also he sort of targeted people that had characteristics that he felt he lacked. He was small, he was weak, he was ugly, and so he chose the opposites in order to I guess feel a little bit better about himself.
Yeah, boost his ego.
Yeah.
So there was a reason he selected these people. It wasn't just random.
And these people, but Renee especially. There was a reason why he selected her for this. So, yeah, like I said, he was 4'9". And the reason he said he chose her based off of these characteristics that he lacked was because when he was to eat her, he wanted to absorb her energy.
Okay, we got one of those crazy people.
Oh my god.
Yeah. She was 25, so she was young and healthy. She was 5'10", so a whole foot taller than him.
Yeah.
He's not gonna grow overnight by eating a fucking woman.
Yeah, no. Yeah. And so in the interview that Sagawa did with Vice, he actually completely details the entire process of murdering Renee. It's a very interesting watch. It is pretty dark. It's about a 30-minute long interview or so. It kind of details a bit of Sagawa's early life, a bit of, his first cannibalistic thoughts and things that he committed. It goes over his death or his murder, his killing of Renee, and the things that happened after that. It's actually pretty crazy because, go ahead, Jay.
I was gonna say, and he wasn't married or like in a relationship with anyone, was he?
No, he never was. Yeah, it's crazy because the way he talks about this, it's not necessarily him talking about it with pride, but like he talks about it with eagerness. He's not like ashamed or scared of completely detailing what he did and why he did it. And there is a good reason for that. I'll bring that up a little bit later on. But yeah, he detailed that, like after she arrived, she began like reading poetry on his desk. But her back was turned to him. And that's really how he started to, muster up the confidence, I guess, for this process. With her back turned to him, he pointed a rifle at the back of her neck. She was blissfully unaware. He apparently had, during his time in Paris at Sorbonne, he said that for a time, almost every night he would bring a prostitute home and try to shoot them. But, quote, for some reason my fingers froze up and I couldn't pull the trigger. So
what the hell? This
wasn't the first time he tried to do it, but this was the first time that it actually succeeded. With Renee's back turned towards him, he would pull the trigger and shoot her in the back of the neck with a rifle. So yeah. Sagawa said that he actually like fainted after the shock of shooting her. But he like woke up and he realized that like he had to continue on.
You don't have to continue. You don't have to do anything, sir.
He doesn't have to, but I mean, at this point, he had already killed someone, and now he wanted to go through, with all of his terrible ideas. But in the interview, he details that after he shot her, she actually like talked for a little bit longer, like just a few more words, until eventually she just slumped down into a silence. So it wasn't an immediate death. She was probably still alive for a few seconds before she like bled out or whatever it may have been. Yeah.
The fear and confusion she must have had for that second.
Mm-hmm. So Sagawa detailed that initially she just slumped down with her head onto the desk, and then as her body began to fall even more, it slammed down onto the ground, bringing the chair down she was sitting in with her. So now her head was, on the floor, her body was sprawled out, and there was the blood starting to come from her head. He said that he quickly put a towel underneath her head to try and, clean up some of that blood. So
Yeah,
he managed to finally kill her. And after this was when he would undress her. He would sprawl her body out more and eventually would rape her as well. So he committed this terrible, terrible act. And his cannibalistic desires only got, worse from there. So at this point, he was now on a mission, essentially. He had the idea that he needed to, taste her, to eat her, cannibalize her.
To take those qualities from her.
Exactly.
First
off, he said... Go ahead.
It was... I was going to say, I assume that she was also a foreign student, so he's not going to go home to someone.
Yeah.
That's yeah.
Yeah, she was a Dutch woman, so I guess not necessarily, too far, but yeah, she was still a foreign student as well. So Sagawa, in the interview, he said that first he wanted to eat some of the most, I guess, appetizing or attractive parts of her. The first thing was her ass. Again, his words, not mine.
Yeah, I'm sure.
At first, he just tried to bite right into her. But he actually said that he could not bite into her skin because his teeth weren't sharp enough, and his jaw started to hurt and got sore because he just couldn't manage to bite through her. So he said that he gave up. He left his apartment, went to the local market, and purchased a long, curved meat knife. So a big butcher's knife. He would go back to her body and would start to slice open her butt, her thigh, because those were the most appetizing parts first. In the interview, he said that he was surprised because he cut into her and he just expected to immediately see the red meat, but he was surprised and slightly grossed out when he saw the gelatinous yellow substance, which he later found out was her fat.
What else did you expect, sir?
Yeah.
He expected meat, obviously.
Yeah, and so he said he had to stab down a lot farther than he really wanted to just to get to that red meat. And when I learned that, I was just like, dude, I was like, what is your thinking here? I guess you're not thinking, but how do you just not realize that? He described it as a yellow corn-like substance, I believe, in that interview, and I'm just like, that is such a weird comparison.
And the fact that he kept going after that.
Mm-hmm. One thing I forgot to mention is that he specifically started with her right butt cheek, I guess, for lack of a better word. He wanted to avoid the left one. He wanted to avoid the left one at all costs. The right one was the perfect one because her left one was closer to her heart, and he was very scared of blood.
What?
Yep. He was disgusted by blood, and
he used a gun.
I don't understand that. Bro really thought that there would be no blood involved, there would be no fat. He would just get right to meat. I don't know. That's
oh my god, this bro.
Yeah. So Sagawa said that he would cut out the best parts of her meat, like her thighs, things like that, and he would put them in the fridge and save them for later to eat.
No,
because he wanted to kind of save the best for last type of thing.
This is not a deer. This is a
you saying it's not a deer brings up imagery into my head, because in the interview they showed some pictures of the meat that he cut out from her body, like on plates, honestly being gathered sort of like how you would gather like deer meat or something. And as throughout the process of him consuming her body, he would take pictures. And so there are some pictures out there of Renee, of Renee, of her body. So there are pictures out there of her like cannibalized body, and I have seen one of them, and it was I don't know, something I thought I'd never have to see. It was, yeah, there was like whole chunks out of her. I won't say more, but
no, fair. I'm not going to ask for more.
Yeah. He would eat parts of her either raw or cooked. It didn't really matter to him, I guess. Apparently, and yeah, he would just eat like whole parts of her. And it was terrible. So in the interview, he like has a book of pictures of like his old college apartment when he was in France, and he literally points at the pictures and says, "Oh, this is the bathtub, the shower where I cut up her body. This part on the wall is where I hid the rifle after I killed her." And again, he just talks about it so openly and eagerly that it almost doesn't feel real when watching this interview.
I'm sure there's
yeah. So he, I guess, feasted on her for a few days. But once her body started to decompose, that's when he attempted to actually get rid of the remains. So he stuffed her like dismembered body parts into 2 different suitcases that he carried, and he was going to dump the remains in the lake at Bois de Boulogne Park in France. So he got like a taxi to literally drive him to the park, holding these 2 giant suitcases. I think he said that like the taxi driver was sort of suspicious, but didn't really ask anything. Sagawa said he went to the park at around 8 p.m., but that was an oversight by him because it was still the summer in France and the sun was still up at 8 p.m. It was still bright, and he didn't realize how bright it would be at 8 p.m. with people still like sunbathing, people still being out and about in the park. So he was actually pretty quickly caught by the police and arrested by the French police during trying to dump these body parts.
Do you know who told the police?
What? Sorry?
Do you know who called the police?
I don't know. It doesn't say. I also don't know if the police were exactly called. I think it might have been that just like they were at the park. And
they were in the vicinity and
they were in the vicinity, and either they saw him or people nearby saw him, and they just like ran over and alerted the police.
Okay.
So he was caught very quickly. Yeah.
Okay. The whole see something, say something.
Yeah. Thankfully, people did. Yeah, so this was the start of a long legal process for Sagawa. Of course, his father, being the rich, wealthy man that he was, provided a lawyer for his son's defense. And he was held for 2 years in France. Those 2 years he was awaiting trial. But at the end of this trial, Sagawa was actually deemed legally insane and unfit to stand trial. In actuality, it really wasn't a good thing, because instead of being tried for his crimes, he was just ruled legally insane and therefore was not guilty of the crimes that he committed, essentially.
So what happened to him?
So he was unfit to stand trial. It was ruled by the judge at the time he was ordered to be held indefinitely in a mental institution in France. So he was held there eventually. I think during that time, he was actually visited by an author who took like Sagawa's account of the murder and then published a book on it. Sagawa does actually have a few books published about these murders, which I'll get into again a little bit later on.
And that's why there's so much detail about it.
Exactly. So, eventually the French authorities didn't really want to deal with him anymore. They couldn't deal with him, just being held in this mental institution because ultimately they did want him punished. So they deported him back to Japan.
Okay. Was there another trial in Japan?
He got deported back to Japan and then was just immediately committed into another mental hospital there.
Okay.
A psychiatric hospital in Tokyo. So the most, I guess, I don't want to say the most interesting part of this case though, but the most incredible part of this case, that's not the best word, but the psychologist and the psychiatrist in Japan all declared him sane when he was there. And they deemed that sexual perversion was just the motivations for the murders. So eventually he was let go from the mental hospitals, and I guess would be charged instead for his crimes. The thing is that since Sagawa was deported from France dropped the charges on him and they closed the court documents. They were sealed. These court documents were not released to the Japanese authorities, who then had no legal basis to arrest this man because there was no record of the crimes that he committed.
Bro, what?
I don't like that.
No.
No, it's not.
I mean, I can't find the words for it, but that's the only thing I can say right now.
No, right? And that was me literally 10 seconds ago when I was trying to find that word. It's just it's insane. It's insane.
It's I don't know, loophole.
A literal loophole, yes. The documents were sealed from France. They couldn't give them over to the Japanese authorities. So the Japanese authorities had no record of this crime, which meant they could not try him for it. So Sagawa got checked out. He got checked out, and he remained a free man until his death in November of 2022. So pretty recently.
Oh, recent,
yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah. November 24th, 2022 is when he did pass away. So
that is so recent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Was anyone keeping track of him? Or I assume not, because there was no trial or anything, but
actually not I guess privately keeping track of him, but he became a public sensation.
Yeah, I'm sure.
He made his living by being recognized as the grandfather of cannibalism, essentially.
So he profited off of this.
He profited off of it. Yep.
Oh, that is so icky.
He was released. Yeah, he was, checked out of the hospital in 1986, and for really the next 10 years or so, he was invited to be guest speakers, commentators. He was invited to be a part of sexual voyeurism films.
Oh my god!
Murder. So yeah, he did. Oh, Alexis is gone.
Hopefully she comes back.
Yeah, no, he wrote books about the murders, going in detail. Hello, are you back?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay.
Do you know
All I said was that,
books he wrote?
I think he has 4 books out about
I am
the
not reading a
murders.
single one of them, even though he's dead.
I'm not sure what the actual titles of all of them are, but there's definitely a few books that he wrote about the murder. At one point, he was also invited to do restaurant reviews for a Japanese magazine.
Oh.
Which is insane.
Much as I hate the sound of this, I know people would show up if they heard that he came to review food.
Yeah.
Because, yeah.
Yeah, so he made a living for his infamy as this cannibal. He became known as the Kobe cannibal. As one of his names. So he made a living out of this, and in the interview, like, he says that, or in different places, he says that, like, it was, like, the most cruel punishment, being known as a cannibalist, or a cannibal and a murderer, while also trying to build his life again. And I'm like, dude, you do not have the right to call that a cruel punishment and feel sorry for yourself. You murdered a woman.
Yeah.
And those are the results for your actions, the consequences for your actions.
No, exactly. It blows my mind. It blows my mind about how he got away with this, but also what he made out of it after. I don't know. There's this one quote from him, from an interview when of him talking about after he killed Renee, and he says, "This must sound rich coming from me, but the moment the girl became a corpse, I realized that I had lost an important friend and even regretted killing her for a moment." He said, "What I truly wished was to eat her living flesh. Nobody believes me, but my ultimate intention was to eat her, not necessarily kill her." I don't understand that. I don't understand that.
I don't either. Doesn't make sense.
No, yeah, it's actually insane. Like, he said that it was simply just a fetish, like he just wanted to have a little taste. It was never anything about, like, actually consuming the meat or actually killing. He just wanted a taste of a beautiful woman's body.
Sir, I don't believe you. I mean, I do, because he obviously wanted a taste, but at the same time, I'm like, No,
yeah. In like the interview, he was asked, do you still have these cannibalistic urges? And so this was the 2011 interview with Vice. And he said, "Oh yes, definitely. The desire to eat people becomes so intense around June when women start wearing less and showing more skin." And so he just goes about more into detail like that. It's like he never stopped. He never stopped, and this man...
so freely about it.
Yes, like, this man was just allowed to live. And it's insane. Like, live out in our society.
Do you think he was... I don't know. I'm trying to, like, make sense of him talking so publicly about it. And if he is profiting off of it, I guess it would make sense for him to talk about it.
But
I still don't like it.
Yeah, of course not.
Yeah. He would also be like back when there were, I guess, other murderers or other cases involving, like, young girls and things like that, people would, like, flock to his house or wherever he was to, like, ask for his opinion on cases. And so he was almost seen as, like, a mini celebrity by people throughout this time. I don't know. There's this there's a newspaper clipping that I have. It's from the Los Angeles Times. trying to figure out when exactly it's from. Not sure. But yeah, it's like a Los Angeles Times newspaper, and it talks about Issei Sagawa. It's like the headline is "Soft-spoken cannibal is a minor celebrity walking free in Japan." Um, so it goes into about how he's written books, how he's widely known on television and in the media. Says, quote, he has shown up in compromising poses in pornographic magazines.
Yo, what?
Yeah. Like he did everything. He took full advantage of his celebrity status for murdering a girl. And so many people didn't even blink an eye at it. It's insane.
And it's so wild because it's one of those cases where, like, if he never left France, he would have been in an institute till he died.
Mhm.
But he kind of got away with it when he got back to Japan.
Yeah. No, he 100% did. He 100% did get away with it. He does say that really, like, the people of Japan did have a disdain for him. You know, most of them did not like that he was allowed to walk free, but nobody could ever do anything about it, of course, because there was no crime, like, on record, there was no crime that he had committed. So the only way they would be able to ever jail him or investigate him was if he had committed another crime, which he never did. So people in Japan, you know, were embarrassed about him or bitter about the fact that he was left to walk free. But of course, they could never do anything about it.
It's frightening because you know that this man has a craving for human flesh, and he was walking amongst people.
Yep.
And they were aware of it, which kind of, I don't know. I feel like the fact that they're aware of it, that he's walking amongst them, makes it worse.
Mm-hmm. In this article, this newspaper clipping, like it says that Sagawa insists that he will never kill again, and a quote from him says, "It is impossible. I have the fantasies, but to kill is horrible. It is different from a fantasy." And I'm like, bro, but you killed already. What do you mean? But to kill is horrible. I don't know. I guess how I'll end this is that with a little bit more from this newspaper clipping. It says, some journalists and literati have written favorably about his work. They call him Sagawa-kun, addressing him with a term of endearment reserved for children or young friends.
No way.
And a quote from him that says, "The public has made me the godfather of cannibalism, and I am happy about that. I will always look at the world through the eyes of a cannibal."
I don't give him any title other than a horrible person.
Good.
Yeah.
I don't either. But there's the story of Issei Sagawa.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you. I knew very little of this story, and the amount of information that you provided was just shocking.
Yeah, I was watching that Vice interview, and he started talking about, like, he was detailing how he was, like, you know, cutting her body and stuff like that. And then, like, bam, picture of her, like, cannibalized was just put onto the screen. I was like, whoa. I was like, okay, like, this is insane. I know I did click on this interview to watch it, but still.
Yeah, no, I'm
not
sure.
what you expected.
No. Yeah. I don't know if you guys feel like watching it. It's a Vice interview. It's called Interview with a Cannibal.
Okay.
It is pretty good, but yeah.
I was told about it. I hadn't watched it.
Yeah, I've seen that. Well, I've seen like the cover of it, but I've never watched it.
Yeah, and now, you know, thanks for you telling us about it, because now I know what to prepare for going into that. Yeah.
Oh, sorry. And I guess addendum, if I use that word properly.
Mhm.
He has lots of books published. In 2011, he did say he recently published his 20th book, and
Bro, what?
I'm sure
No.
he's published more. He said that he likes to try to publish 1 or 2 books a year. So about like
He uses
the
his
murder,
real
about
name,
different
right?
fantasy. Yeah, he uses his real name. Like he does not
good.
hide.
That way I don't accidentally buy one that has like a fake name, like a pen name or something, you know?
Yeah. No, this guy, like I said, he took advantage of what he did and he made a living off of it. So
Yeah, he did.
the surprising thing though, like while doing this research, I never really got anything from like the parents of Renee, the victim. Like there's never really any coverage that ever happened.
So everything is surrounding him rather than the victim.
Everything surrounding him, yeah.
And that's sad though.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah.
Well,
Anyway,
I-
that's my story.
All right. Thank you for starting us off with that.
Welcome. I try.
Oh, and you succeeded.
Yeah. And now it's my turn to follow up.
Yeah,
with
what
that.
do you have for us?
So I don't know necessarily how to feel about this case. Like I don't know. We'll see. So we're going to England, baby. England.
Okay.
Whoa. What are you
yeah,
covering?
what?
What are you covering?
Yeah. So wait, what are you talking?
I want to know what
Okay.
you're covering.
I am covering the Borley Rectory haunting. So
Interesting name.
What is
Or-
that word?
Borley
wait.
Rectory?
Yeah, the second one.
yeah, so Borley is a village in Essex, England, and then
Okay.
Rectory is basically like a church.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's
I
like
just
the
never
best
heard
way
of the
that I
word.
can
That's
describe.
why.
It's a British church, I'm assuming. That's what I found out when I looked it up because I had to. But this takes place in Essex, England. The village Borley. I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but the house was built in 1862 for a rector. A rector basically is like a pastor in a way. And his family, and it was also declared as the most haunted house in Essex. So, yeah, this house was actually investigated. Yeah,
I'm just little tangent because I know like people like call places like the most haunted house here and like the most haunted like thing here and there. Is there a least haunted house? Like a place that has that view?
My
Just
house.
curious.
True.
Just curious. I was like, because there's usually the most haunted, but like, does anyone advertise themselves as the least haunted blank?
Just the most normal house in America.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the world.
Love that,
Okay,
dude.
keep going.
Okay. So this house was actually investigated by a psychic reader or researcher. His name was Harry Price.
Yes.
You know his name.
I've heard the name. I don't know anything.
I
though.
have mentioned Harry Price in one of the previous episodes I've covered.
Okay.
really?
Yes, I thought you
Okay.
did. Okay.
Okay, it sounded familiar to me, but I didn't know where I knew
I'm
it.
so glad you're covering like a case that
It was
he's
one of the
involved in.
first cases we did, right? It was very early on.
Yeah, it was one of the very first early cases, and the only reason I'm happy because like he can be his own story, but I don't want to just cover him. I'd rather just focus on the case and then bring him in.
This guy's
but go ahead,
interesting.
Alexis.
Yeah, no, I knew I recognized the name. I just didn't know what I recognized it from, but I guess now I know. That's cool. Okay. Well, this house was pretty famous. Unfortunately, it was damaged in a fire in 1939, and eventually it was demolished in 1944. So it's no longer able to see at all. But it was a pretty cool house. It was kind of like a Gothic style house. And it was believed to be haunted for as long as the house had been built. So again, from 1862. There had been a lot of reports, but they doubled in 1929 after the Daily Mirror had published an article talking about Harry Price coming to visit the house, and he even wrote 2 books supporting like the claims. Yeah.
Real quick about him.
Yeah.
Harry Price investigated Jeff the Talking Mongoose.
Yes. That's what it was.
That's why the name is so familiar, because it's Harry and Jeff.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. There we go.
Let's go.
Oh my God. Well,
let's see, Harry. What are you doing here now?
Well.
Now we really need that puppet.
Yes.
Yeah, we do.
Okay.
So, like, I guess he had written 2 books about the house, just talking about the paranormal activity that he found within it. But there are a lot of reports that Price had made, and these reports had prompted the Society for Psychical Research. I'm going to call them the SPR because that's a big company name. And
okay.
I know of them too. Sorry.
Yeah, I've mentioned them in one of my past cases too. But they performed a formal study on the house, and the study revealed that these sightings that people had were simply either imaginary or fabricated. So before I get into that, I do want to go a little bit over the history of the house. So again, the Borley Rectory, it was built in 1862. It was built by a reverend named Henry Dawson Ellis Bull.
And shit, what are British people's names, bro?
Yeah,
sorry.
Literally. No, you're fine. The house was built on Hall Road, and it was actually built nearby to the Borley Church at the time. Bull, he had moved into the house, and he actually moved in after being named rector of the parish for a year. Again, rector's like a pastor, but
such a weird name.
It's an interesting way to call them.
Yeah. The house where the house was built, there was actually another house before it that was also a rectory, but it was destroyed in a fire in 1841. And as Bull was constructing the home, he actually made it a lot bigger by adding a wing for, get this, his family of 14 children. This guy had 14.
Holy shit.
Bro, that is insane. Oh my God.
From one wife?
I that it didn't tell me. So, but
I feel sorry for that wife.
Same.
See, most
oh my God.
all of the wives. I don't know, man.
Yeah, however many there were.
Fucking old-timey fucking Nick Cannon. I don't know.
Just like him for real. Okay, so the church nearby was actually rumored to have been built around 1362, and it was rumored to be known as the Benedictine Monastery.
Cumberbatch?
Oh my God. Yeah.
Benedict Cumberbatch?
Yeah.
Sick.
Yeah. And well, the story of this is not so sick. It's actually a story of a monk who formed a relationship with a nun from a nearby convent. And after being discovered, the monk was executed and the nun was bricked up alive in the convent walls.
Isn't some American horror story shit?
Isn't the entire point of being a monk and being a nun that you don't get married?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and celibacy and all that stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you do you, but like, I mean, that's what you signed up for. So
there's so many things I could say right now, but I'm not going to say them. Okay. Well, this whole story had become really well known Eventually, it was debunked in 1938, as there was actually no known history of what it was before. So it was believed to be made up by one of the rector's children, or the rector's children, to kind of romanticize their house a little bit, I guess. I don't know.
How is that? Okay. I wouldn't romanticize my house like that.
No, I don't think anybody would. But as I mentioned, it was known to be haunted for as long as the house had been built. So I'm going to get a little bit into the hauntings. So it goes back as far as 1863. And there was reports from like a few locals of unexplained footsteps in the house. Spooky.
Oh my god. And then four of the daughters of Bull had actually reported seeing a ghost of a nun at twilight about 40 yards away. 40 yards away converted into feet is 120 feet, by the way, in case you're curious.
Thank you, because only America uses feet.
Yeah. But
that's why we're superior. Anyway,
we do math.
Oh wait, bro, just said that. But
120 feet.
Yeah, 120 feet away from the house, and as they attempted to communicate with this spirit, it would gradually just disappear. Then, that happened July 28th, 1900. And then several people would report having witnessed these events for the next 4 decades. People would actually report seeing a phantom coach driven by 2 headless horsemen.
That's sick.
Yeah, that is pretty sick, right? I don't know. I thought that was cool. And then in 1892, Bull had passed away, and he left the parish to his son, the Reverend Harry Foister Bull. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. It's a big name. Hell? Yeah. So Harry Bull, he was now the rector of the parish, but then he passed away on June 8th, 1927, which led the Borley Rectory to be vacant. So after a year of the house being completely empty, on October 2nd, 1928, Reverend Guy Eric Smith and his wife moved into the home. And Smith's wife was actually cleaning out the cupboards. And this was shortly after they had already moved in. And she came across this brown package. And inside of it was a skull of a young woman.
No.
Yeah.
I'm out. Maybe not. Maybe not.
She also claimed to have seen a horse-drawn carriage at night. And then the Smiths, both of them, would report hearing the sound of a worker bell ringing, even after it being disconnected. And then unexplained footsteps, as well as lights appearing in windows. They had actually eventually contacted the Daily Mirror newspaper, asking to be put in contact with the SPR, the Society for Psychical Research. Mm-hmm. And the newspaper had sent a reporter, and this reporter wrote the first of several series of the articles that would go into detail of the house, the mysteries of it, on June 10th, 1929. And they eventually arranged for a paranormal researcher, Harry Price, to visit the home. He made his arrival on June 12th, and as soon as he stepped into the house, immediately there was stones being thrown, vases being thrown, as well as other objects. There had been a message tapped out from the mirror frame, which was believed to be left behind by a spirit. And yet, as soon as Price left the house, everything completely stopped. And so,
welcome.
Smith's wife actually thought that it was Price that was causing all those things to happen, not a spirit, as Price was known as an expert magician at the time.
Oh, I was going to be like he would bring his own spirits to cause him like chaos.
Yes. He had he had some tricks up his sleeve, you know what I'm saying? Come July
Some rabbits
14th.
in his hat.
Dude, I've always wanted to do that. But I don't
I
have
think
a
you
rabbit.
should.
I don't have
it's never too late.
Where do I get a rabbit?
Where do you not get a rabbit?
From the rabbit store.
True. There's a rabbit store around the corner. I'll just go.
They're usually called pet shops nowadays, Alexis.
I know them as the rabbit store.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I go.
They got what you need.
So, July 14th, 1929, the Smiths completely left Borley overall, which actually led the parish to struggle trying to find a replacement. And then on October 16th, 1930, a first cousin of the bull, Reverend Lionel Algernon Foister, his wife Marianne, Jesus Christ, and their adopted daughter Adelaide. Adelaide is such a cute name. I love that name. Anyways,
it is
their
cute.
adopted daughter Adelaide. Yeah, so Lionel, Marianne, Adelaide, they moved into the home, and from the time that the family moved in, again 1930, until October 1935, Lionel Foister would write basically everything that would happen, all the strange events, and he would send them to Price. All these events that Foister would write down were things that people had even witnessed in the past. Some things like the sound of a bell ringing and stones and vases being thrown. But there was one thing, a couple things actually. The family had also witnessed windows shattering, wall writing, and their daughter Adelaide being locked in a room with no key.
Did you say wall writing?
Yeah. Yeah. It kind of sounds like phasmophobia.
Do you know what was being written on the walls?
I do, actually. And I'm going to save that for later.
Oh.
But thank you for asking.
Guys, I have something to admit.
Yeah, what do you have to admit?
I thought you said wall writing, like
Oh my
writing,
God, stop.
like writing on the wall, not like writing on the wall.
Okay, I'm sorry. Just
No, this is on me. This is my fault. Like I
want a clarification. It's paranormal. It could be.
No, that's the thing. Like, was there a spirit like writing on the wall or some shit? Like I don't know.
Yeah, because when you're when you're covering a paranormal case, it very well could be wall writing.
Like walking on the walls and shit. I don't know. All right, my fault. All right, continue.
I hate you. Okay. Well, writing and their daughter Adelaide being locked in a room with no key. And then Marianne actually told her husband about certain events that would happen, even her being thrown from her bed by what she believed to be a poltergeist. Adelaide was also attacked by something horrible, and in an attempt to get rid of it, Foister tried to perform an exorcism twice. And in the middle of the first exorcism, he got struck in the shoulder by a stone that was the size of a fist. And both, yeah. So, didn't really work out for him. But good try, I guess.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah, I'll give him that, I guess. You know, like you tried, homie. You just didn't quite sucdeed.
And I feel like
when you just wrote on the walls. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe write back to them.
True. Ask them why. Okay, so the Daily Mirror, they were covering this case pretty often, and it attracted the attention of a lot of paranormal researchers. And after these researchers had investigated, they all unanimously came to the conclusion that these incidents were caused by Marianne, consciously or subconsciously. So Marianne later was stating that she believed her husband was actually the cause of some of these incidents. And she even believed that one of the paranormal researchers was with her husband, kind of doing these things. And later, it had been revealed that there was a sexual relationship between Marianne and a lodger named Frank Perlis. And
the only reason I'm saying that is because I kind of expected it to go that way.
Yeah. She admitted it, and she said that she would actually use the phenomena that would happen in the house as a way to cover up her affair. And then eventually Lionel Forster, he grew ill, which led the family to leave Borley in October 1935. Now, I am going to get into the investigations that were done by Harry Price. Yeah. So after the Forsters had left Borley, the rectory remained vacant for some time, and Price actually agreed to a year-long rental with the owners of the property, Queen Anne's Bounty, and the Times, a newspaper in England, had actually printed ads on May 25th, 1937. And in response, Prince actually recruited 48, quote, official observers, end quote, most of them being students. And these students
48?
would spend, 48 students. Well, some of them being students. Some of them were just regular people. But the students would spend their weekends and their free periods to go into the house and report any phenomena that would occur. That's crazy. That is crazy that you have 48 people do all of this.
It also sounds like it'd be that like location where like you would get dared to go into if you wanted to be part of the cool kids.
Oh, true. Yeah.
So I can see why so many like kids went in there.
Yeah. So Price had a lot of helpers, of course, like you said, 48. One of them, S.J. Glanville, had a daughter named Helen Glanville, and Helen performed a planchette seance. Do you guys want me to explain what a planchette seance is?
Isn't that?
Wouldn't it hurt to? Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead. There might be listeners
for any listeners who don't know, yeah.
Yeah. So there's two things that it could mean. There's one, the basic that we know of, Ouija board. A planchette.
Mm-hmm.
It's like the clear circle in the middle so you can see the letters on the Ouija board and communicate with the spirits. And then there's the other planchette seance where it's just a plain kind of blank planchette.
Mm-hmm.
And they would use it for the spirits to draw or write something down.
It's like in
I'm giving turret. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm giving my North Turret feel right now.
Honestly, go for it.
No, that's copyright information.
Not like you're gonna give it again. Like it's not like you're gonna give it again, so might as well do it one last time.
Oh, true.
So true, actually. Oh my god. I can't. It's so surreal that it's gone. For me, at least. I don't know. Anyways.
People who don't know are like, what the fuck are they talking about right now?
We can leave it a mystery.
Planchette seance.
Yeah. They'll write in.
Helen Glanville, she performed a planchette seance in Streatham, London in March 1938. And it was reported by Price that Helen had actually came into contact with two spirits. One of them being a young nun who identified herself as Marie Lair. And according to the story, Marie was a French nun that left her religious order to travel to England and marry a member of the Waldegrave family. And legend says that she was murdered in an older building on the site of the Borley Rectory, and her body was believed to be either buried in a cellar or thrown into a well. And the wall writing that I was mentioning earlier actually read, Marianne, please help me get out. and it was believed to be written by the nun. And then there's the other spirit that Helen came into contact with. He identified himself as Sunix Amures. And he claimed that there was bones of a murdered person that would reveal themselves, as well as he would set the Borley Rectory on fire on that same night at 9:00, March 27th, 1938. And now there was a fire, but it happened less than a year later on February 27th, 1939, with the new owner, Captain W.H. Gregson. He was unpacking like normal, and this is shortly after he moved in, and he accidentally bumped into an oil lamp that was in the hallway, and immediately it just caught fire.
Holy shit.
But the weird thing about it was that the house had never been connected to gas, electricity, or even water. And so the fire spread so fast that it caused so much damage. And when they had done an investigation on the fire, they came to a conclusion that the fire was started deliberately. And it was never told who started the fire. They never investigated it or anything like that any further. They just left it as that.
That, like, he just bumped into a gas lamp and it...
Yep. It just caught fire.
All right, then.
And as the house was burning, a local from the Borley Lodge, Miss Williams, said she saw a ghostly nun in the upstairs window. And as a reward for sharing her story, she demanded, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, guinea, which is like British gold coin.
Okay.
So
weird.
She just wanted money, gold. And then Price, he went into the house after it had gone through the fire, and he actually performed like a brief dig in the cellar in August 1953. And they found bones of what they believed to be a young girl. And so they took the bones and they gave them like a Christian burial in the Liston churchyard, after they were told by the parish that they would refuse to allow them to perform a ceremony as they thought the bones belonged to a pig.
Whoa.
What?
Dude, this is the weirdest case I've ever read in my freaking life. It's so weird. I don't understand
the delay on J&I's reactions for that. I was like, what?
Yeah. Like, they're really, like, I was trying to, like, process what I heard. I'm like, did she say pig?
Pig? Yeah, I was like, pigs? And I was like, huh?
I don't think you guys understand. I literally tried researching this case this morning. Bro, I had to read these sentences like a million times for me to be able to process them, because I was like, this is freaking weird.
Oh, yeah, what the hell?
I expected them to deny the burial because they thought that they were like another religion or like another race or something, but like a pig?
What the fuck?
Dude, I don't know what's going on with this. That's why I was like, I don't know how I feel about this case. I don't know. But Harry Price, he died in 1948, and after his death, a reporter from the Daily Mail, Charles Shudden, accused Price of faking the phenomena. Now, while Shudden was visiting the Borley factory with Price in 1929, he was actually hit in the head with a large pebble, and Shudden claims that he had stopped Price later that same day, I'm assuming, and found several stones in his pocket. And it was like, oh, it was this guy. And then 3 members of the SPR, Eric Dingwall. I'm sorry.
Dude, British people. Okay.
I don't mean to make fun of names.
I am making fun of British people. Sorry.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, how are you British? I don't get it.
Bro.
Anyway.
Dingwall. Oh my god.
Y'all eat like beans and cheese on a potato, and like that's like a delicacy. I don't know. Anyway.
So Eric Dingwall, K.M. Goldney, and Trevor H. Hall in 1948 investigated these claims on the Borley Rectory, and they published what they found in 1956. And they also said in their book that Price was a fraud. And they named this book The Haunting of Borley Rectory. So if you guys want to read it, you can.
Okay.
Then there was a study that was done by the SPR, and they called it like the Borley Report. Basically, they just said that all these events were natural causes, like rats, acoustics of the house, the cow was built simply. Yeah, and concluded with, quote, when analyzed, the evidence for haunting and poltergeist activity for each and every period appears to diminish in force and finally to vanish away, end quote. And then one of the authors, Terrence Hines, wrote, quote, Mrs. Marianne Foister, wife of the Rev. Lionel Foister, who lived at the rectory from 1930 to 1935, was actively engaged in fraudulently creating phenomena Price himself said salted with mine, and faked several phenomena while he was at the rectory, end quote. Basically just calling him out, I guess. Yeah. Eventually, Marianne Foister admitted to saying she hadn't actually seen anything, no apparitions or anything like that. And all the noises that she would hear that somewhat sounded ghostly was simply just the wind. And sometimes she would prank her husband with her friends. Sometimes she would do it just on her own. And so that's what the events were really caused by. And then there were many legends of the Borley Rectory after this. Basically, all of the previous owners before Lionel Foister claimed that they had never seen anything, and they were even surprised to note that the house that they once lived in had now gained its title of being the most haunted house in England. I am so confused right now. Is this place haunted or not?
I don't understand it. Like, the most haunted house, but it's just like rats and like other wind and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm all for like debunking like paranormal activity and shit like that. Like, come on, like I don't know. Give this place a little bit of slack. maybe do some investigating.
Kind of insulting though, because let's say that you're living in a just plain old regular house, and you have all those issues, winds, rats, and like things like that. And then they say, "Oh, you live in the most haunted house." It's like, no, it's not haunted. It's
just like the wind.
Yeah.
No, that's kind of fucked,
bro. Yeah, I don't know. This case was it threw me. It flew me through a roller coaster, but. There were a lot of people that doubted Price. They're, saying that he was a fraud, saying that he faked this, faked that. But there was also some that came to his defense, like SPR researcher Robert Hastings, as well as Price's literary executor Paul Tabery and Peter Underwood, another researcher. They all came to his defense. And later in 1997, pretty recent if you ask me, Michael Coleman, he made an SPR report saying that although all of these people would come to Price's defense whenever they were given criticism, they hadn't had anything for a rebut. So basically, they kind of just made themselves look like idiots by supporting this guy. And eventually, this haunting would be so well known that in 2017, there was like a partly animated film called Borley Rectory, the most haunted house in England, that came out. Yeah. And then there was a feature film, The Ghosts of Borley Rectory, that was released in 2021, which was super recent.
It was good. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, this whole haunting, this whole house, the history of it, everything that you can name of, it's so famous now that there's being films made out of it. There's books that are written about it. And yet there's nothing to confirm.
No, it's not haunted.
Yeah. Whether it's haunted or not.
That's so stupid. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
What?
That's my case. That's the Borley Rectory haunting.
Wow.
Dude, reading this, like I wanted to like gouge my eyes out because I was like, dude, what is going on?
Do you know if it's still standing?
No. It was torn down in 1944. Okay. It was demolished after the fire. So it's not still standing.
So the fire really did people just said after the fire, let's just get rid of it.
Yeah.
Man. Oh well.
I have photos of it.
I'm not gonna lie, like I'm kind of disappointed. Not with you or your storytelling, but just with this case. Like
I was disappointed.
What? Like what?
No,
what happened? I don't know. It's all over the place and like nowhere at the same time.
Yeah. What caught my eye about this case was that it was, declared as the most haunted house in England. And then I read about it and I was like, is this even really a haunted house?
Fair.
No.
Not anymore.
No. Sorry if it was disappointing.
No, it's interesting for sure.
No. Like it wasn't like disappointing actually, but it's just like
the house was disappointing, not the story.
Yes, the house is disappointing. There we go. Yeah. Not the story.
Yeah. Weird story. I don't know. But hey, now the world knows a little bit more about it. So if you ever watch those movies, guys, now you know the lore. Well, thank you guys for listening.
Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
And now I'm gonna direct this attention to Jay.
Is it my turn? You're kidding.
No.
Oh my God, it's Jay time.
Well, Jay time. The only thing, I hope my story kind of gives you a little bit more of, it's a little more intriguing than Alexis's. Not like yours was bad, but like this one. No, because this one's not like a building that was. I'm just gonna shut up because you had a good case.
I'm kidding.
No, there's only like one word that I have to describe my case. Like if I had to use one word to describe my case. Okay, first of all, Kai, one word to describe your case. What would you?
One word to describe mine?
Yeah.
Gruesome.
Okay, and
that is
Alexis,
a very good word.
What word would you use to describe your case?
Stupid.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? Not gonna lie, it kind of fits.
Yeah, it does.
So one word to describe my case, green.
What? That's a color, Jay.
It's a word as well.
I guess so. All right.
So
I guess let's hear it.
So I'm going to give you the title a little bit into the sentence because I just want you to picture this. So we're going to England.
Oh my God.
I know. Oh my God. That's why when you were like, I have a story to England. And I'm like, wait, what are you telling? What are you sharing? We're going to England during the 12th century. Now, this would be, because it's 12th century, I'm not going to go find records of that. I'm going to rely on other people getting records.
Probably like 1830s, something like that.
So this was during the reign of either King Stephen, or King Henry II. Yeah. Oh, the second. Yeah. That's when you know how back we're going.
Holy shit, okay.
We're going to Suffolk's Woolpit.
Ooh.
Now, I just wanted to give you a little bit of knowledge of where the name Woolpit comes from. It's from the Old English, wolf pit, meaning little wolf pit.
Yeah, you'll find me in there.
Will we? Because these were pits designed for trapping wolves.
All right, so the wolf pit.
Yeah, so it was just a village. It's how the village had like protection from their livestock, from like wolves. It was very common a common medieval practice for protecting the communities and the livestock from wolves' attacks. There were like deep trenches or holes that were dug into the ground, and then they were camouflaged on top to appear like its natural surroundings.
Okay.
So kind of what you would picture. Now, these pits were designed to trap wolves that fell into them while they were roaming or chasing their prey. And the sides of the pits were steep, and they often were lined with sharp stakes at the bottom to ensure that, like, once the wolf and it couldn't escape.
God.
Yeah, so sad.
So it was designed to make it easier for the villagers to capture it or kill it safely.
Yeah.
But enough about wolves. Let's talk about why we're in Woolpit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the nights, the field workers were just doing their work, and they found something in the wolf pit. Not something that was not a wolf. They found 2 children.
Oh no.
Now, for visuals, it was said that the hole was at least twice as tall as the kids were and a couple of 100 feet wide.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A couple hundred feet wide?
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
So it was a boy and a girl. They were speaking a foreign language that the field workers have never heard. And they also had strange colored clothes that was made from unfamiliar material. And here's what makes this case a little interesting. They had green skin.
Huh?
What the fuck?
Yeah. So this is the story of the green children of Woolpit.
Bro, what?
Aliens, bro.
In the 1200s, in the 12th century. So they found 2 kids that were talking a different language, strange clothes, and they had green skin. So they took the children out of the wolf pit, and they brought them to a knight. And his name was Sir Richard Decane. And
Okay.
Sir Richard just gave them a home to stay, and gave them food.
What a stand-up guy.
I mean, he was a knight.
That's true. It was like his whole duty was to, I guess, do that. So
Yeah.
Nice.
So, he tried taking care of them. The kids were offered food, but the kids refused all the food that was given to them.
Ungrateful brat.
the hell?
Like, so no matter what they brought the kids, they would just refuse to eat all the food. And you really couldn't know why, because you didn't speak the same language.
Oh yeah, true.
Yeah, you didn't, and they were green. There was, however, one thing. You're still not over the fact that they're green.
Sorry, no, it's so funny.
Now, there was one food in particular that they did eat. Care to take any guesses?
Banana.
Okay, and then Kai, any guesses?
Chocolate pudding.
No.
Yeah. That was, yeah.
No, so the only thing that they were willing to eat was beans.
Oh my God, frijoles?
Yes.
I love frijoles.
They're British. Give them the British citizenship already, bro.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, so they were only willing to eat beans, and so Sir Richard's servants brought them raw beanstalks because it's the only thing that these 2 kids would eat.
That's insane, dude. They already passed the British citizenship test. Holy shit.
Oh my God.
Now, something very interesting about this is that the kids didn't know how to get the beans out of the beanstalk. they knew that the beans were in there, but they didn't know how to get them out. So the kids ended up eating the whole beanstalk.
What happened?
And no, I mean, they were just eating the beanstalk, and eventually the servants showed them how to get the beans out, and the kids were really, really excited.
Cute.
Now, according to like the few like records I found, this was the only things that the kids would eat for months.
Damn.
Just
They just
beans.
lived off beans?
They just
Beans.
they literally lived on beans. They
Oh my
refused to
God.
eat anything else. And eventually the boy
They became bean children.
believed to have died of malnutrition.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not what I expected.
I mean, that
No, I
never
know.
happens when you're British and you only eat beans. So.
Yeah.
Only
It
if
comes
you're
to show
British,
you
though.
that you can't live off of beans.
No,
Yeah.
you need like seasoning.
So eventually the girl
So-
did. The girl did start to eat other foods.
Oh my God.
And eventually she learned the English language. And over time,
Ooh.
it was said that she lost her green skin.
Oh,
What?
Yeah.
no more green skin.
What the
And that's it.
hell?
Story over. No more green kids. No,
What
so
the
she lost her
hell?
skin. And the girl started to speak English. And she gave her name, or like someone gave her the name of Agnes Spar.
Bro, they...
Agnes Spar?
Agnes Bar.
Bro.
Agnes Bar, okay.
Bar?
Yeah.
Most
yeah,
normal
Bar's a
British
lot.
name.
Agnes Bar.
Yeah.
So she was also baptized once she learned to speak English. And getting baptized during this time simply meant that you were committing yourself to have a good moral standing in society.
Mm-hmm.
However, Agnes was known to be reckless and quite promiscuous as well.
Oh,
Agnes Bar.
Agnes.
I know.
The hell, Agnes?
You frisky Agnes.
From
Agnes
green?
freaky, bruh.
For real. She a freak.
She went from green to promiscuous.
That's gonna be me.
Oh.
You are green.
That's racist, bruh. How could you say
Yeah,
that?
I'm racist.
Okay.
I'm racist.
All right. Let's move on before you get
You
canceled.
know what, Alexis? Have some beans.
I mean,
So it was said the girl reported when she started to speak English, they obviously asked her, "Where did you come from?" And she reported that she came from a strange underground land.
the
The
Underdark?
Underdark.
I am so glad you guys got it.
That's where I'm from. I mean, Cincinnati.
Well, she didn't call it the Underdark. She called it the land
the
of
Underdark.
Saint Martin.
Of who?
Wow.
The land of
Saint
Saint Martin.
Saint Martin.
Otherwise
Okay.
known as
Yes.
the Underdark.
Yeah, and she said that there was no sun, but a perpetual twilight.
Oh,
Yeah,
cute.
and she said that like her and the brother or the boy, everyone that lived in Saint Martin, that also had like greenish skin.
What?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. So
and she also described that there was like a very long river, like that just ran across the land.
Mm-hmm.
She explained that her and her brother were looking after their father's flock when they came upon a cave, and on entering the cave, they wandered through the darkness for a long time until they followed the sound of bells.
What?
And then
Why did you
yeah.
do that?
Then they came out of the other side and turned into the bright sunlight. which they found startling. And then they were found by the field workers.
Oh my god, the one time following something actually worked out.
Actually kind of worked out?
Yeah. Green people smart. For real.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, from what they said, they were taking care of their father's flock. That just means that they left the flock alone.
So true. I would too.
To go into a cave?
Yeah, I would love to go spelunking.
Now, there's multiple theories about who the kids were and where they came from. One theory is said that the children's had arsenic poisoning.
Oh.
Yeah, so that story goes that their caretaker, an earl from Norfolk, left them to die in a forest near the border, and then they found themselves in that wolf pit.
Oh, that's dark.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah. Now there's another theory that's a little less dark.
Okay.
Still dark, not
just a little bit lighter. Okay.
Which Alexis,
okay,
I told you this already, but I am surprised that at your age, as an unwedded woman, you have not caught the green sickness.
The what?
The green sickness.
Oh my god. I feel like I'm gonna get it soon.
No, so during the Victorian times, it was believed that single women that were like at a certain age that were unwedded would catch the green sickness and would turn their skin green.
You guys, I'm seeing green spots on my arm.
No way.
I think I'm changing.
You know what? You might, because it turns out that it's a very, very severe type of anemia.
Oh my god, wait, what? No way.
Yes. So the green sickness, or what they called it during the medieval times, it's known today as hypochromatic anemia, which is caused by a diet that's very, very deficient in iron and protein. And it causes the skin to have like a green tinge to it.
Whoa.
So it's an actual medical condition.
Yeah, they just called it the green sickness back in the day, and they thought that only unwedded women got it.
So they weren't alien children. They were just sick.
That's another theory. Because if that's what it was, the boy also caught the green illness.
Yeah, true.
I don't know. I like thinking that they were aliens. So.
Oh, so you're not the only one that has that theory. Because there is a theory that people believe that they were aliens from a different planet, and that they got teleported to Woolpit.
What?
Yeah. There are theories out there that believe that the kids, it was not a portal, it was teleportation.
Oh, okay. Well, you can...
And that's how they explain, like, the green skin. They said that the green skin was caused by, like, genetically modified food from their planet. And when they stopped consuming it, the green skin faded.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
that would also explain the other language that they were speaking. That sounded just gibberish to them. Because they're like, if they're aliens, they're not going to speak our language.
Yeah.
Now, on our theory, go ahead.
No, it's like it's so funny. Who comes up with these theories, dude?
No, literally.
Oh, there was no shortage of theories. There's one word that's so a little bit more like common sense, and then we're gonna go wild in the theories again.
Okay, I love that.
So insane.
I mean, that's all they are. They're just theories. There's no hard evidence. There's another one that's people say it's the most likely theory that tells that there were Flemish immigrants who were, and these children were, their parents were prosecuted and killed, possibly in the battle at Forman in 1173.
Damn.
And that's because Fornham, St. Martin was a nearby village. and the name kind of lined up with what she said.
Yeah.
And they were separated. That village was separated from Woolpit by a river, just like the kids described that there's a river. And just a few miles from St. Edmunds was where the loud bells often chimed. So they're like, it kind of adds up. The river, they're Flemish immigrants, so there's that language barrier. Of course, they have different clothing, and the bells chime in as well. So it's possible that the children had been orphaned. They suffered a poor diet, which would lead to the green illness or anemia. And eventually they found their way to Woolpit, following the sound of the bells. Yeah, so that's another theory.
So there's a lot of theories on this.
Yeah, there's a lot. Is what I.
Some of them better than others.
Yeah. We're gonna go to the last theory and also a little bit more of a wild theory. It's not aliens because we've covered that one already. But this theory says that the kids. I can't even take myself serious saying this. That the kids were fairies.
Oh, I think that one's for sure true. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. I think so too.
Dude, what?
Guy is dying on that side.
That's the only logical answer for this one.
And the reason for that was because fairies, if you ever go back to like how people describe them, they would always describe them green. So fairies always have that like green skin to them, and that's why they thought that the kids were fairies.
They're fairies.
Nice.
Yeah, I like that one.
Could be one, could be the other.
I think we found the one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
But those are the theories as to what ended up happening to the little girl that took the name Agnes. She eventually got married, and nothing else was known of her at that point. And that just has to do with the fact that once she lost her green tint, they don't really care.
Yeah.
Facts.
But that's part of the fun, not knowing. Now, something really cool that Woolpit did, I don't know if it was like recently or not, or if it was like almost right off the bat when it happened, was that Woolpit, their name, let me send you the picture. And their name, they ended up having 2 little kids that are the color green in it. So they kind of like embraced it. Yeah. So they definitely embraced it, which was nice.
Yeah.
I'll send it to the group chat real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, that's the green children of Woolpit.
I love that.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
This was a fun story.
Yeah, I'm glad. It was fun. It was fun to research it. It was fun to cover it. And the theories were never ending.
I honestly think they were furries.
Listeners, let us know which one of the theories is your favorite.
Yeah. Let us know which one is your favorite, and then let us know which one you think is the most realistic.
Yeah, and then we'll try to tally them all up to see what we all agree on, and the next episode we'll say
reveal
who thought which theory was the correct one, or which one was the favorite.
We'll judge you guys based on your options.
We can make like a poll on Instagram.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we can do that too.
Yeah.
But I just sent you the pictures, and you see 2 pictures, one of like the tiny pit and the other one of the kids. And it's not like they were like Shrek green. It was like they were
slightly green.
Yeah.
Okay,
slightly green.
Okay, that makes sense. Then it's sort of like somewhat like a jaundice or something. Or it's like it literally is just a medical condition causing it. That makes sense.
And then when the girls started eating other foods, the green faded away, which would make sense.
Yeah, I'll test it out.
No.
Oh,
We don't need you to be green.
that's not.
Anyways.
Yeah, so
that's
that is the green
episode
children
8.
of Woolpit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Episode
Now-
8 in the books.
Once again, feel free to write in. Let us know what you want to hear.
Yeah.
Because if you don't write in, guess what? We're going to talk about what we want to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you guys can only bear us for so long, so
Yeah. You might not
Yeah.
like our stories because you didn't pick it, like the green children. No one asked for them.
True.
I just thought to
but I
educate
love
you.
them. But I love them.
Yeah.
The green children are
Oh.
sick.
We don't discriminate.
They were literally sick, Kai. I don't know. But yeah,
God.
green children.
Green children. What was my case again? Oh yeah, like weird haunted house, and then really messed up murderous cannibal author guy.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well-
Good way to sum up the episode.
Check out our socials and please write in because
Yeah.
we're starting to
We
think
don't-
that you're not out there.
Apparently there's like an EP, like a music EP named Issei Sagawa that a band made.
What?
2007. What?
2007?
There's 2 songs on it. I'll have to. The first song is called White Skin, and
Oh, God,
the
no.
second song is called Sato Sagawa. Okay.
Oh, okay.
I guess I'll
See,
listen
I
to
thought
them.
that the second one was going to be called like right cheek or something like that.
That would have been more creative. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
Well,
Anyway,
He-
have a good night, day, rest
Yeah.
of your time.
Yeah. Thanks for listening.
Thank you guys, as always.
Yeah.
and
See you next episode.
goodbye.
Bye bye.
Bye.